What's up guys, today we're taking a look at the Donner MT1. This is an affordable battery-powered PA speaker. So Donner have been around for a while now, and they primarily focus on affordable and budget-friendly music equipment solutions. Now there are quite a few portable PA speakers on the market that are battery-powered, but this one, it undercuts all of them in price, but it doesn't skimp out on the features. Now, for full transparency to you guys, Donner sent this review unit to me in exchange for this review content, but just like always, you guys get my honest thoughts, and Donner, they're going to be seeing this at the same time it goes live, just like everyone else. All right, so this is kind of fortunate timing because my ZLX PA speaker that I've been using for years and years is slowly dying, and I've been gigging with and reviewing PA speakers and FR speakers to hopefully find a replacement for the ZLX. But when I got this, it dawned on me that it may be possible to use both a small and affordable product just like this and a more powerful, bigger FR unit for the full big band performances. Now, I play quite a few acoustic shows with both my main band and another musician in town that I do like a duet performance with, and we don't need big full-size FR solutions for those acoustic shows. Now, in addition to that, several places that we play, they don't have a lot of space available, and smaller units like this, they really do start to make a lot of sense compared to the big full-size ZLX speaker. So what I wanted to know was whether or not the 300 watts of this unit was powerful enough to use on stage with a full band, a drummer, a singer who also does acoustic, and how did it work with just one other guy singing? And power output aside, would it sound any good? Let's go through some of the features and then we'll talk about how it worked on stage. So this unit comes in at 300 watts. It has an 8-inch primary driver and a pair of 2.5-inch high-end drivers. It has a pair of inputs so that you can plug in guitars, mics, keyboards, electronic drums, you name it. It's got an auxiliary input to play music, or you can connect via Bluetooth to stream music, or you can use the Donner app on your phone to control channel levels, effects, and use the hugely helpful graphic EQ. More on that later. It has built-in reverb, a combination of reverb and delay, or just delay. It has physical controls for music playback, 3-band EQs for each channel, physical volume controls for each channel, music playback, the level controls for that. You've got volume controls for the headphone jack output. And last but not least, there's an XLR balanced output letting you pass your mixed signal from the MT1 out to a house PA or another powered PA monitor or a recording interface or something like that. Now the enclosure itself, it has a really nice handle kind of built into the enclosure itself, and it has a angled backside that you can tilt it up so that you can kind of point it up at you when you're performing. And also on the bottom there is a speaker pole mount. Okay, so with that all out of the way, let's hear this thing in action. It's always sort of a challenge to mic up a PA speaker, but just like the others that I've reviewed, I've got the Aston Origin mic here a few feet away from the unit, and my Martin GPC Aura GT is plugged straight into the guitar input on the unit. One important note is that this guitar has the Fishman Aura system in it, so it has a selection of impulse responses built into the unit, giving it a much more natural, mic'd up acoustic sound, much more so than your typical piezo system produces. But I'll turn the Aura system off also so you can hear it both ways. I'll also have the smartphone app over to the side and kind of recording the screen here, so you can sort of see how this interacts with the MT1. And I'm also using the sound hole blocker here to hopefully reduce the amount of noise that from the guitar that actually goes into the mic, but also to eliminate any potential feedback problems that I might run into being this close to the speaker. Okay, I'm going to turn the Aura system off. All right, so here in the app real quick, you've got your two channels here. You've got your music channel as well, and you've got your master volume control. If you tap into one of your channels, you can see that you have all your controls here that mirror the controls that are physically on the device, in addition to your EQ sliders down here that you heard making quite a bit of difference on the sound. Okay, so hopefully that translated to the mics as well as it sounded here in the room. Now, obviously a very big difference there is going pure piezo compared to using the Aura system. I think if you're primarily using an acoustic guitar with piezos, sort of like my Schecter or my Godin, you really do need some sort of acoustic IR loader. Now, Donner make one of these, but I don't know if you can upload your own impulse responses into that unit, and also it looks sort of like a full preamp effect system that may be more than what you're needing compared to something like the little $50 Sonic Cake IR pedal. I think if Donner could add the ability to import your own IRs into this unit and then use the app to select which one you want to use, that would be a really huge win. Now in the app, as you could hopefully hear, the graphic EQ sliders make a huge difference to the sound, and I feel like those are critical to getting the right sound from this unit. The woofer in this unit is smaller than what you would typically find in a normal PA speaker, and the enclosure itself is also smaller, which I found resulted in a voicing that pushed the mid-range a little too aggressively for acoustic playing. The physical EQ knobs on the speaker, they really aren't enough to get the mids in a place that I feel sit right with a natural voice of an acoustic guitar, and the high-end drivers weren't quite pushed hard enough with either of the physical treble controls. Once I got into the app though and started making some fine-tuning adjustments there, the sound improved quite a bit. All right, now let's talk about how this unit worked in the post-gig report. If you're new to the channel, I take most of all the stuff that I review on the channel onto the stage to see how this stuff holds up in a real-world working musician's environment. It's easy to get gear to sound a certain way here in a controlled studio environment like this, and the stage is where you really find out what a product is like. For the MT-1, it ended up having the perfect amount of power to be heard on stage when I was using it as a personal monitor. I was able to clearly and cleanly hear my acoustic and my vocals at the same time, and in my second show with the unit doing acoustic duo work, I flipped the unit around towards the crowd. It ended up supplementing the single PA speaker that we normally use perfectly well with lots of headroom to spare. For the $230 price, I was very impressed. Now, let's talk about some things that I like about this and some things that I think could be improved. For starters, the $230 price tag puts it easily in reach of a lot of musicians. For small venues and street busking, the size and the power that this unit has is absolutely perfect. These situations, they really don't call for a huge, massive amount of watts and big sound, and this does a great job of supplementing a bigger system if you need something just for yourself. For a quick grab-and-go public speaking unit, again, this is a perfect product for situations like that. You might not have access to a power plug, and that's where the internal battery of this guy really comes in handy. Lastly, and I feel like this is a big one for me personally, having full physical controls and a good EQ for both channels independently to make quick adjustments. I don't think that any other portable PA speaker or busking speaker on the market has that. The last thing I want to do is have to rely on a smartphone app to make basic adjustments. With the MT-1, aside from the Bluetooth app operating flawlessly in my own testing, other than the EQ sliders on each channel, the app controls are just a mirror of all of the physical knobs on the device, and the EQ sliders, they're kind of a set it and forget it thing that once I had everything adjusted before the show, I was kind of done needing the app completely. Having physical controls over pretty much all of the functions and features is a big deal, and like I said, I don't think that any other device in this category has that. As for improvements, I already mentioned one. I think that if they can do a software update letting you import your own acoustic IR file that you can use, that would be a huge upgrade for acoustic players that primarily rely on piezo pickups, which for most street performers, that's the only option that you have. Speaking of updating, they need to integrate firmware updates into the app. Several other Bluetooth and PA speakers that I've reviewed all do updates within the phone app. Another quality of life thing that I wish this thing had was USB-C charging. USB-C, it can deliver hundreds of watts of power these days, and everyone's got a USB-C cable and a charger, so being able to use that instead of the power brick that came with it, I think that would be a really nice quality of life change, and it would even let you extend the battery operation of the unit even further with a nice big power bank, so that if you need to use it for more than the 4 to 6 quoted hours of wireless operation time that this thing has, a battery bank would let you extend that even further. Lastly, I'd like to see them push the high-end drivers a little bit more for a more crisp top end on the sound of this unit. The out-of-box sound for the acoustic was a bit flat and dull, and I really had to crank the treble, as you could see on the EQ sliders in the app, to get the top end sounding just right. So those are the things that I think that they could improve or add, but overall they're fairly minor complaints. And again, taking into account the price of this unit, some of this stuff is easy to overlook compared to some of the more premium and expensive units on the market. So overall, I was pleasantly surprised at both how loud this little thing could get, but also how well it worked for my stage use playing acoustic. Another big thanks to Donner for sending me this review unit to check out and to take a look at. And if you want to grab one of these, I'll have a product listing for the Amazon page down there in the description. If you enjoyed the video, hitting that subscribe button and the like button, they would really help the channel grow and feed the algorithm to get videos like this out to more new viewers. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.